So now we have our next speaker. So excited. Is Dr. Tobi Sheiker. Look at her. She's so beautiful. Dr. Tobi is the chiropractor that I work at her office, her practice, and she's going to be talking to us today about balancing your life with chiropractic and Healy. I personally was afraid of chiropractors. I played sports back in the day, and I literally stopped playing sports because they made me go to a chiropractor, and he was like about to crack me, and I was like, I quit instead. But Dr. Tobi has a completely unique way of working with people, and so today she's going to tell. Our meeting was so synchronistic, and we just opened up the microcurrent lounge there yesterday. So if you are in the Delaware, Pennsylvania, Maryland area, you should stop by and see us. We will put the address in the chat, but Dr. Tobi is going to take it over now.
Well, hello, ladies. Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
I love your flower too.
Why, thank you. I was actually trying to sit in our lounge to have that as our beautiful background today. And the internet I tested it beforehand. It was going choppy in and out. And I was like, oh, I can't have me talking like a robot. So I had to move into my exam room. So I was trying. So thank you for putting this on. I'm super excited to be here. I think that first I'll just talk a little bit about me and then my introduction into Healy. So first, I am the owner of Balance Chiropractic, which Ashley just mentioned. We are in Centerville, Delaware. I owned Balance Chiropractic in New Hampshire first, and I opened that in 2008, sold it last year. We offer full service. It's kind of a one-stop shop. So we offer chiropractic, massage, microcurrent, craniosacral. We have classes, Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga. What else am I missing? We have an intuitive healer. We have EFT. We have Eden energy medicine. So we have just a healing center in the middle of Delaware, which is very needed, I think, in our world, especially during what we've gone through over the last couple of years. And I believe in serendipity and fate. I almost named my practice Serendipity Chiropractic. I just thought it was too much to say. But I was introduced to Healy at a time where I was working in my previous practice. It was July of 2020, actually. I had to look it up last night, but I have a dear friend in New Hampshire. She happens to be a naturopath. She was the first naturopath in the state of New Hampshire. And I always look to her for guidance. Like, she's just knows a little about everything. And she reached out to me kind of randomly in July and was like, you need to check out this Healy thing. I'm utilizing them with my patients. I'm seeing some great changes. You really need to get involved. And at the time, I was looking to open up my own practice, and I was kind of just overwhelmed, I guess. I had a lot going on. I said, sounds great. I trust you. Looks great, but just don't have time for it right now. So I kind of just put it aside. Well, Pamela Herring was her name, Dr. Herring. She actually didn't let me push it aside. And the next thing I know, I was receiving this book in the mail, and this was in November of 2020, after she had sent me a whole list of everything Healy that you probably need to know. I mean, it was links and videos and webinars and things that I probably still haven't looked at because I just haven't made the time to. And she knew that, so that's why she sent me this book. So let's fast forward. So that was November of 2020. And so Carolyn McMakin, who wrote this book, happens to be a chiropractor. Well, that got my attention, obviously, because I am a chiropractor, right? So read the book very quickly, was pretty enamored by it and fell in love with it, and was like, okay, now what? And so then my friend, Dr. Herring, took it a step further, and she reached out and said, I found a list of people in your area that are doing FSM, the frequency specific microcurrent at the time. And so this was late 2020, right? So she found someone that was in Haverford, Pennsylvania, which wasn't terribly close. It was like a half an hour away. And so I have three children. I have identical twin boys that are 9, and I have a daughter who is 10, and they are um, the lights of my life. But one of my twins was injured at birth. And so essentially he was born not with us, and they medical care resuscitated him, brought him back to life. And so he has, when he had the birth injury, it altered our life quite a bit, obviously, kind of not what any parent plans. And so I've done pretty much everything that I know of for Berkeley, to help him live a life like his identical twin. And so we've done obviously chiropractic since his birthday, craniosacral therapy, Reiki, integrated awareness, osteopathic manipulation, massage, PT. I mean, we've just done everything with this kid, and we're blessed. He's amazing, and he has no intellectual challenges. But I'm always looking for new things to help Berkeley and us as a family, because we revolve around little Berkeley. So when she said, you need to take Berkeley to see this practitioner in Haverford, I didn't hesitate, called them, set up an appointment. Happened to be a chiropractic office. Again, serendipity, I'm just gonna go with this, right? The chiropractor was not doing the FSM, but his massage therapist, Chris, was. And so we set up, I think, 1 session a week or something. And Berkeley doesn't relax very easily, so he's in a constant state of tension. He's fisted a lot. He's just a really tight little dude. And so he would get the FSM, and she'd have all these leads and electrodes connected to him, and he would just like melt. And so he just loved it, like physically and emotionally, mentally, spiritually. He just loved the sessions. And I think we did 6 in a row. And then it was like Christmas time, and then it was signing a lease on a new business, and then it just got hectic, and we just stopped going. So, but we had a great experience there, and I definitely knew at that point that microcurrent had a place in our lives. I just wasn't sure how to proceed with that. So enter Ashley. So again, serendipity, right? One of my patients happens to be her family member and connected us. And I remember talking to Ashley the very first time. I was going to pick up my best friend from New Hampshire at the airport. I was waiting at the Philadelphia airport. You have to wait like before you get to the airport, like, and there's a line of cars, and I'm on the highway. And I don't know if she called or something. I was like, oh, I have 20 minutes. Let me just call this woman. And we spoke, and we were talking and talking and talking. And we couldn't stop talking, but we had to, because I had to go pick up my friend. So at that point, I was like, all right, there's a connection here. I just have to figure out how to proceed with this. And so that was probably June of last year. I think it was around the time I was opening my business, maybe a little bit after that or so. Anyway, so we opened the business in June on Flag Day. We just had our 1-year anniversary last week. It happened to be on that strawberry full moon, which is kind of cool, I think, and Flag Day. And so Ashley, brought Healy into my life after Pamela introduced it to me. And so I've been getting better at delegating. I try to do everything myself, and then I realized I can't do everything myself. So I'm going to do chiropractic, and I'm going to let Ashley do Healy. And so she brought it into the office, I think maybe August or so of last year. And we've been seeing just some amazing results. I'm open to anything, but I don't want to say I'm skeptical, but maybe I am. I think it's like I'm open-minded, but I'm always like, let's see how this works with patients, because we have this patient base. If it works with them, I'm going to be convinced, right? I'd already seen it with my own son, but it was different, right? It was the FSM compared to the IMF. Yeah. So a little different, right? So, but we started seeing, results right away, and patients would come back, and Ashley and I tend to be like 2 ships passing in the night, because we both are full, and we just run into each other sporadically. But patients were coming back and going, wow, I met Ashley, and this happened and that happened. And I mean, we were talking about, obviously pain diminishing. One of my favorite stories is we had a local massage therapist here. She had fractured her foot. Didn't realize it, so we sent her for an x-ray, but she was here one day, and Ashley set her up on a pain management right in my lounge, which is where people kind of wait for their services. And she's a loud-ish type of woman, adore her, but she just, she's not quiet. And so she was like, oh my God, my ankles, there's no pain. And we were like, well, yeah, of course, right? Like Ashley and I weren't surprised, but she was like completely like shell shocked from it. And so everyone around her was like, what does she have? I want one of what she has, right? So she went out and bought the Healy, of course, and now they're using it in their practice, doing massage. Anyway, so Ashley and I have seen some great things in the office, but she kept saying to me, Tobi, you're going to get one of these things. I'm like, yeah, eventually. She's like, no, really, you need to get one of these. I was like, listen, I'm doing the chiropractic thing. You keep doing the Healy. We'll check in from time to time. And so then I think fairly recently, I think it was a couple months ago, I myself was having some digestive issues, and I had done everything that I would tell my patients to do. And so I was like, Ashley, please, like, I need some help. And so we set up the release program, and well, we released later. So I was like, okay, I'm convinced. Like that was all I needed to see that Healy, really was effective and had a great place in my life and my patients' lives. So I purchased the unit, and I got the professional when it was on sale, thankfully. And I've been using it with myself and my family ever since. And I love it. So I guess I want to kind of, I want to talk about chiropractic, obviously, because that's my passion and Healy is Ashley's passion, but I feel like they blend really well together. And I want to just read something that I found. So I'm sorry to be rude and looking at my phone, but I'm just pulling up a picture that I took. So I guess there were a couple of scientists that the Healy was based on. And so what it said in their little bios, it was Robert Becker, and I'm not pronouncing the other, but Bjorn Nordstrom. So it said something interesting. It said, Dr. Becker, his main field of research was the regeneration of organs and organ systems through the use of the body's own bioelectromagnetic phenomena. And then the other professor, the other gentleman said, he wrote a book, and it basically said, in the book, it described a bioelectric circuit in the body, similar to blood or lymph. So a bioelectric circuit in the body. So when I hear that as a chiropractor, I instantly think of the nervous system, because we all know that we're a body full of energy, we're electricity, which is what chiropractic and Healy are both based upon, right? So I focus on the nervous system, and there are 12 organ systems in the body. The nervous system is one of those, but the nervous system is the system, the electrical circuit that controls all other systems of the body. And so if there is stress in the body, which unfortunately we have stress every single day, we have the physical stress, too much, too long, too fast, too hard. We have emotional stress, which is what we deal with, whether it's frustration, overwhelm, sadness, anger. And then we have the chemical stress, which is the toxic part of things. People don't recognize that as much. But there's toxins around us all the time. Pollution, pesticides, plastics, medications even. So all of those things interfere with our body and our electrical circuit, and they create blockages, all the different forms of stress. And when there's enough blockage over enough period of time, the body starts to have dysfunction. So dysfunction is going to show up as pain or numbness or tingling or weakness or limited mobility or poor posture, or maybe it's going to show up as digestive problems or mood imbalances or sleep disorders or whatever. This is what people come in with, all of these different things. And so as a chiropractor, I know that people are coming in with pain, and how they're feeling is what's foremost on their mind. And I focus on how they function. So I know that as they function better, they naturally are going to feel better. So I focus more on their posture and their mobility. And I basically find where they have blockages in their spine and nervous system. And I remove those blockages by giving what's called a spinal adjustment. And then the body is able to regulate and to heal and to function better. So people will notice improvements in their posture and their mobility, in their digestive habits, etc. And then as the body functions better by clearing out the stress in the body, they naturally just start to feel better. So I was thinking, how do we clear the interference? How does Healy, how does chiropractic, how do we repair the damage? And we do it in a similar manner because I give the spinal adjustments and that removes the blockages and stress. And Healy sends, it can detect these depletions or imbalances, is how I explain it to patients, in the cells, in the body. And it can send, using the frequencies, the microcurrent, directions to the cells on how to heal and repair. So we blend really well together because we're not necessarily removing stress in the lives, but we're removing the stress in the body so that the body can function better and then feel better, which is what the patient cares about in the first place. And so when you align the body, you allow everything else to be more effective. So a lot of people will come in and they've done everything known to man, right? They're icing, they're heating, they're medicating. Maybe they've had a massage, and that's not to discredit massage therapists because I love them dearly. But maybe they've done other modalities. Some have been to other chiropractors at times, and they are telling me that like nothing's working, like even the medication doesn't work, this doesn't work. And it's usually because there's a neurological component. So if you don't clear out the nervous system, this electrical circuit that I keep referring to, then the body can't function at its finest, which means all these other modalities, which should be effective, might not be as effective as they should be. And so I find that when people start to clear out the nervous system by getting the adjustments, everything seems to be more effective. So heat and ice even might be more effective, or the massage might be more effective because we're indirectly or directly affecting the muscular system so that the muscles will relax, so that the massage therapist can have an easier time doing their massage, or the patient will just feel better from the massage. And also when you align the body, which is what chiropractic helps to do, which is what Ashley and Kristen are attempting to do by offering Healy to the world, right?
So it didn't give a phone number for that guy.
It improves posture, it decreases tension, it restores the mobility, it balances out the body. And so Healy also is able to balance out the body, right, by restoring function as well. So very complementary. Obviously, people see chiropractors and they're not using the Healy, and obviously people do the Healy and they're not seeing chiropractors. But imagine if you do both, how powerful that could be, how strong that could be, how effective that could be, because we're both systems, chiropractic and Healy, microcurrent, are trying to clear interference and restore normal function and balance to the body. And so on another aside too, I was thinking it's kind of intriguing where the spine, the nervous system correspond to particular areas in the body. So there's something called a somatovisceral response, meaning there's something happening at a different level of the spine that will then affect how the body functions. So for instance, I find T6, the sixth thoracic, and a problem in a lot of patients. And I might just happen to say, oh, is there anything happening with your stomach? Because that corresponds to the area of the stomach. And the patient might say, oh, I've been having nausea or indigestion or heartburn or whatever might happen in the stomach. And so there's a somatovisceral response, meaning there's something happening at that particular level, which is in the mid-back and the spine, that might affect how that organ functions. Or there might be a viscerosomatic response, meaning there might be an organ, like say someone has a liver cirrhosis, and the liver isn't functioning at an ideal level. That gives a biofeedback loop to the spine and the somato part. And then the spine might have a chronic stress at that particular level, which happens to be your fifth thoracic, which is right above the stomach. So you can see it go either way. So spine affects organs, organs can affect spine and nervous system, but Healy can then come in too, right? I can say, hey, I adjusted someone's T6 today, maybe there's something happening with the stomach, maybe we need to look at the nerve or the digestive system and pay special attention to that. And maybe then the Healy can hone in on whether there's a weakness or depletion or imbalance in the gut, and then give some special attention, sending some frequencies to the gut. So I just thought that was super correlative and very synergistic. So I like how they can work together. And the thing about Healy too is it's really interesting with the patients. We're noticing that patients will come in, sometimes they already know what the problem is, and then Ashley will run a scan on them, evaluate them, and they'll say, oh, wow, this makes perfect sense because this, and this came up. But I'm finding too, a lot of patients are coming in not really knowing what the problem is, but having a problem or a symptom or knowing that there's some form of dysfunction, but maybe they can't figure it out. Maybe the medical professionals haven't figured it out. And then the Healy will detect it and it will make sense to the patient. But then there's also the patients that are coming in and we're doing a Healy scan on them and it's not making much sense. And it's just like with chiropractic. It's like, well, did you know if I adjust your third lumbar that there might be something happening with your ovaries, uterus, bladder, or knees? Because that's the area that corresponds to that. And they say, well, no. And I said, well, there may or may not be a problem, but we're going to detect the issue, the stress in the spine, and adjust it so that it can heal and you might not ever develop a symptom. And I think the Healy can work the same way, right? So it can detect maybe an imbalance or depletion that's in the body that you are not aware of. It's not present as a symptom yet. And then we can address it by sending the microcurrent frequencies into that particular area to help with the healing process, which I think is amazing, which is why we are working so well together, I think. And so people oftentimes, think that in order to see a chiropractor, they have to have pain. And obviously that is what I see most of the time. But a lot of times people will come in with neck pain and headaches and jaw pain. And then I'll say, are there any other areas that you are concerned about, even if you think that they're unrelated to what I could or would do? Well, yes, I have allergies, or yeah, I have insomnia, or I've been dealing with depression and anxiety. And so people will also notice as they get adjusted, I tend to focus on the person as a whole and not on their symptom. And so I address everything, or I try to at least. And so when people come in for their neck pain, they'll oftentimes notice that, okay, well, their headaches start to go away, their jaw tension is less, maybe they're sleeping better, maybe they're pooping better, maybe they're a little calmer, they're not reacting so harshly. I mean, we see all sorts of great things. So even though people come in with pain or a particular area of pain, we also notice that other areas can help to clear up. So that's why I focus so much on function, because I want people to understand that chiropractic is not just pain relief. Obviously, that's our specialty. Like, it just happens when you clear out the stress of the spine and the nervous system, the body is going to function better. When you function better, you are going to feel better. And it might be not in the speed that you expect or want, but it will happen. And so we see patients that have come in for all sorts of issues. I mean, I see a lot of headaches, all types of headaches, cluster, sinus, tension, migraines, especially. I see a lot of jaw problems. We also have other practitioners in the area that we've teamed up with that kind of synergistically work with us as well for jaw and sleep issues as well. Dr. Robinson has been awesome as a colleague to refer to. We see a lot of, obviously, back pain, hip pain, sciatica, but then people come in sometimes too with indigestion, or they come in with anxiety, and people will notice that as they're getting adjusted, they feel calmer, they feel more energized, they're sleeping better. The body just normalizes with chiropractic care, and maybe will normalize even better with Healy and chiropractic care because they work so well together. And a lot of people, when they think of chiropractic, they think of the forceful manipulations, the hands, the popping, twisting, cracking, and that is very effective for many people. When I came out of school, we had been taught that as like the main form of adjusting, and it just didn't resonate with me personally. So I was kind of on a mission, searching and trying to find a method that felt good to me. And it took about 3 years. And then it was actually introduced to me by a chiropractor in Delaware, Dr. Scott Rosenthal, who I started seeing after a car accident. And I had gotten run off the road by a huge truck, and I had really injured my neck and my head and jaw and shoulder and arms. And he took wonderful care of me. And then when I finished, he actually was part of the force to go to chiropractic school, because I was pretty much pre-med up until that point. And then when I went to chiropractic school, and then floundered, Dr. Rosenthal had switched his entire practice, and he had a very large, successful practice in helping a lot of people, over to this this method that I ended up starting thanks to him. He trained me in it, and I started learning it from the head honcho, Jay Holder, down in Miami, Florida. And I learned it from Scott, practiced, with him, and covered his office a little bit. And so then when I moved to New Hampshire, that was probably like 2002-ish. I moved to New Hampshire in 2003. And when I opened up Balance Chiropractic in New Hampshire, I decided I was going to just be an exclusive torque release practitioner, which is what Scott had taught me, Dr. Holder had taught me. And so when I was in New Hampshire, I was originally the only torque release practitioner there for a bit of time. And then a married couple came that had gone to my school, and they started utilizing it about half an hour south. And then I trained the doctor who ended up purchasing my practice because she had learned it in school, and then we just fine-tuned it for her. And then when I moved back to Delaware in 2017, I think there's no chiropractors in Delaware right now that are doing torque release. I'm not sure about Maryland, Pennsylvania. I feel like maybe I had heard about one in PA, but there's no one close. And so the torque release method, torquerelease.com, I think it's on my website, balancehealingspace.com too. But torque release uses a little gadget instead of the hands. So this is called an integrator because it helps to integrate the nervous system in the body. And I call it a clicker in the office because it makes a little clicky noise when it's doing its magic. And so that's what I started using in 2003, and I've never looked back. It's been 19 years now. And people, want to know, well, who would see a chiropractor? I mean, anyone who feels like their body isn't as healthy as they want it to be, anybody who feels like they're not living the life that they want to live. And a lot of people find me because I'm a different chiropractor, because I don't do the manual manipulations. And some people love that and they won't want to see me, or maybe they would because people like to try different things. But the torque release method using the integrator, it's wonderful for people who are scared of chiropractors. I see a lot of those. People who are skeptical of chiropractors, I see a lot of those. They become the best patients because when you help them and they don't ever think that you're going to possibly help them, they refer everyone that they know. And then I see a lot of people with like rods in their spine, which a lot of chiropractors wouldn't touch that because you don't want to put a lot of force into someone who has, a metal rod in their spine. I've seen a lot of fusions as well. And so I can take care of anyone that has, any type of dysfunction in the body using the torque release method, but certain groups tend to gravitate towards me. And a lot of, now that we've been here for a year, I mean, it's just the word of mouth is getting out, which is great. Or people are driving past our beautiful office and they just want to see what's going on in there. And now that the lounge and the sign is up, people really want to know what's going on in here. So if you've ever, had a bad experience with a chiropractor, or you don't like the cracking, or you have a serious condition that you think maybe chiropractic wouldn't help, the torque release method might be just a nice tweak or a twist on what you think, expect, or have had. So I'm happy to answer any questions about the torque release method because it is definitely unique, and most people are very surprised, when they come in, if they haven't heard of what I do, because it is very different than what most people think of when they think of chiropractic. So I think that concludes what I wanted to talk about. I really just wanted to express that there is something different in the chiropractic world for someone. And it is more than just pain relief. It is for just total body health and well-being and function. And that Healy and chiropractic work so well together. They're so synergistic. And you can do one or the other, but I think it's much more powerful when you do them together. And I'm happy to answer any questions about chiropractic or torque release or my office. And also with the office too, I think my dream was to always open a practice where I would have my people, my team, like-minded individuals. I've always kind of been on my own island. I felt like, whether it's the technique I use, or that I'm a female in a male-dominated society or profession, I should say. And I always referred out to all my female colleagues around me. And now I'm just so blessed to have us all in one roof. And so I can refer to people that I know and trust, and they're taking care of me personally. And so, I have no issues sending someone to Ashley or to Carla or to Christine or to Ryan, because I know that they're going to do their best to take as good a care of my patient as I am taking care. And so it's just great to have a wonderful team, and we're all just trying to make this world a little bit better, especially in the stressful situations that we've been dealing with in the last couple of years. We really can't underestimate what the last couple of years have done to us. And people are still not in the clear quite yet. And I feel like they need us more now than ever, because people are lost and they're hurting and they don't know where to go and they don't know what to do. And we're just really blessed to be able to offer them help, whether it be with Healy, chiropractic, whatever. Just people that have evolved a little more. I think most of us on this call maybe we've just done more self-help or more evolution. I don't know what you want to call it, but I feel like the world just really needs people like us right now to really help them. And so I'm just really blessed to be part of this group that we can all work together, like-minded, synergistic, and just spread the love and help people live the life that they want to live, that they haven't been living. So I just want to end with a little quote, and then I'm open to questions. Again, it's on a picture, so sorry, I'm on my phone. And I just found this in one of my gratitude journals. I read it this morning and I was like, oh, that's a great way to end my talk. So, when I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid. Because I think fear is what blocks a lot of us from doing something, whether it's being a Healy user or a Healy distributor or relationships or whatever it may be. Fear is what stops us. So that really resonated with me. So I just wanted to share it with you. And so thank you for having me, and I'm happy to answer any questions or hear any comments or all the above.
Thank you, Dr. Tobi. You were such a beautiful soul. And like you said, when we got on that first call, we never stopped talking. So synchronistic. Meeting you and being a part of your growing practice, and you are just really lighting up people's world. So I'm grateful to be a part of your practice as well.
Thank you.
I love how you're so open-minded to incorporate all these other modalities other than chiropractic. And it's just, you're all encompassing, and that's really important. And I think that's what we need, are doctors like you that are willing to look at other modalities that perhaps maybe they weren't familiar with, but they're open to receiving and seeing all the different layers of things that can help us. And I loved what you said about your practice, how you have this incredible team of these people that you can rely on. This person does this person does that, and we all share. And I feel like, and I think you said it too, it's like the vibe tribe in our community is like that as well. We have all these really skilled, amazing people in our group too, and we all kind of support each other. Like Dr. Tobi's a great chiropractor, go to her. There's a numerologist, or there's, we're all supporting each other, and it's just amazing how we do need all these different people who are willing to look beyond what the average person is doing and just kind of shed some light on it to help people.
Right.
Someone's asking, how long are the appointments?
Aha.
Are they referring to
Dr. Tobi?
Dr. Tobi chiropractic or microcurrent? Why don't you answer for you, and then we'll see if they clarify.
Sure.
I think
and I just wanted to touch on what Kristen, what you just said too, is my problem is that I want every patient to do everything because I know that there are so many different layers, right? So I'm like, well, I know they need chiropractic, but I really need Ashley, and gosh, they really could use a massage with Ryan, and they definitely need a little intuitive, with Carl. And so it's like, I try to figure out like, okay, what's priority? Like, what do we need to start with? Like, well, obviously they're here for chiropractic, but then let's start with the evaluation with Healy with Ashley, because we offer that for free in the office for a 30-minute evaluation, just to introduce people to Healy. And Ashley, she's just amazing, because most people who get the eval, they become a client. So that she's wowing them with the Healy, right? And with herself, obviously. But it's hard because I want everybody to try everything. But I have to usually, order things in priority, and then they make their way around the office, which is awesome. So my appointment, so the first patient appointment is usually about 45 minutes. and we do a consultation. Our consultations are free of charge. So if someone wants to just talk to me to see if I think that I can help them, or to see if they have a chiropractic case, then it's free for everyone. So it offers that on our website as well. And then the examination and the history, the adjustment, we do it all in the first visit. It's about 45 minutes. So hopefully that answered your question. And then when we do the microcurrent lounge, which Ashley touched on, which we just opened yesterday, just to let everyone know, I mean, if you're in Delaware or Maryland or Pennsylvania, like, please put the word out there, because the patients that I mentioned it to yesterday, their eyes lit up, because there's a lot of positives, but one, it's just a great introduction to Healy. It's a community setting. A lot of people I find, especially my older crowds, I don't want to say lonely, but we're just starved for attention these days, right? We've been so damn isolated. And even if we have a partner or a kids, like, you just need people in your life, right? And I'm blessed. I talk a lot and I talk all day. I was hoarse last night. We had a really busy day yesterday. I couldn't talk last night, but people are missing the talking aspect. And so this community setting is, and some people don't want that. Like, some people might go off and be in a corner. I said to Ashley, some people might want to be away, and others are going to be, wanting to socialize. And so we have that aspect. And you don't have to be a patient of our office to be a microcurrent lounge user. So you can just come in off the street. So you can send anybody that you want, that you know. And it is a beautiful setting, if I do say so myself. Ashley and I have worked really hard to make it beautiful, and Veronica Chandler did a beautiful mural in our office. And so it's coming along. It looks beautiful. There's lots of green, and anyway, and then it's less expensive. So if someone has a private session with Ashley where she's working her magic with them, doing the Healy and whatever else she needs to do with them, it's one price, but it's less than half the price if they're doing it in the open setting. So we can allow the experience for more people. So definitely, if someone's interested in that, and we do 30 and 60-minute sessions in the lounge. So we do have flyers that Ashley has made up. If anybody wants a flyer, we can email it to you. You can hang it at your place of employment, your favorite coffee shop, whatever you want to do. We'll be happy to provide you a flyer. So any other questions?
I actually want you to speak on, if anyone later on watches the replay and is thinking about implementing this either into their practice, if they're a chiropractor or any kind of health practitioner or yoga teacher. Yeah. Can you just touch on like what this Healy has done for your practice, and any advice you would give them?
Well, yeah, I mean, I touched on it a little, but I think that from a healing perspective, I mean, it's just another layer. So it's just, one, it's new to nobody has heard of microcurrent. I do have a retired chiropractor right now, and she's heard of it. She was in our lounge yesterday. But most people, they go, microcurrent, what's that? And I'm fortunate that a lot of people, when they come in, they trust what I say. And so they're willing to try something that I recommend, right? So, so it's just a different layer of healing, because I can address a lot with chiropractic. I can address a lot more with Healy. So it's just working together is more helpful for the patient, more powerful. I think that is super important, just to realize that people have different aspects of themselves, that maybe just an adjustment will help. But, I find that sometimes when someone comes in and I feel like they're blocked and the adjustment, they're like, I'm just not getting better. Like, I know it's not what I'm not doing right. It's what they're doing not right. So it's like, maybe they're drinking too much. Maybe they're not getting enough sleep. Maybe they're totally dehydrated. Maybe they hate their job. Maybe they don't like their husband. Like, it's just, I hear it all. And so if there's a different layer, there's only so much I can do in a chiropractic appointment, but I know that they need additional care, then the Healy can help with that additional care, right? It might help them relax a little bit so that they can handle the job that they hate, that they're stuck in, or that they feel they're stuck in. Or it might help them sleep better so that they can heal faster from their chiropractic care. I mean, it's just, it just works so well together. And with any service, I mean, you don't have to be a chiropractor, obviously. Like, if you're using it in a yoga studio, well then, It's going to help your patients be more comfortable, more flexible, sleep better so that they can have a better session, be happier. I mean, who knows what it's going to have the potential to do for them. And so we are hoping to get the word out to local practitioners next. We're very lucky that Dr. Robinson is on board, and he saw the effects of Healy, and now he's going to be sharing it with his patients. He owns the Pain and Sleep Center down in Newark, and he focuses on jaw and sleep issues and neck. And I mean, we work very well together. We cross-refer to each other as well. But I think it's just going to make everyone's practice a little bit better. And obviously, I mean, there's a financial standpoint too. I mean, some chiropractors are there, there's an income perspective too, which is nice, but I don't think that that's why most people get involved in this. So.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's really helpful.
Yes.
Yeah. I posted Kristen, well, I did, Dr. Tobi's website. It's www.balancehealingspace.com. Please check us out if you're in the area, and thank you again for being
Thank
here.
you for having me.
Very
Yeah.
very informative. Thank you.
You're welcome.